Next up, we have Lauren Metalle from DCMS, and she's going to talk to us, I believe, a little bit about cyber initiatives that DCMS and I assume UKC3 are up to. So, Lauren, do you have any slides that you want to put up, or are you just going to be talking with us?
I do. I'm going to give it a shot. I apologise to anybody who wasn't here at the beginning of the call. Normally I can get onto video, but today the browser option is not working. So let me see if I can share my screen. Ironically, not the most technically savvy at times. Oh God, it looks like it's just blinking quite a lot. Can anyone see that?
Can, but it is blinking continuously.
Oh, I love Zoom. Okay, I'm just going to not share and run through this without the slides for you guys. Is that okay? I can send them around at the end if that's helpful to you all.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Should we give it one more go, just on the off chance?
Oh, there you go.
Well, look, turn it off and turn it on again. Who knew? Yeah, so first and foremost, I'm sorry actually now about how uninteresting this presentation seems in comparison to Pete's just now, and I think I want to go and work in digital forensics, so I might give you this sort of presentation on what my role is, and actually, Peter, I might be applying for a job with you, but there you go. So here is my intro, and it's essentially the cyber sector team within DCMS, specifically the cyber sector growth and innovation team, have recently employed 4 of us as regional leads. And so what I wanted to run through with you guys today is kind of what these roles are, why have we been employed essentially, and how we can kind of work alongside you guys as a cluster. Now we have other people within the team who work on our kind of relationships more with UKC3. That's my colleague Rebecca. We have sector kind of engagement leads that work specifically with kind of primes and large businesses. That's my colleague James. And we have others who kind of specifically work on growth and innovation programs. So they're sort of other colleagues as well. So if there's anything that I haven't covered at the end of this and you want the kind of contacts for those more specific roles, then obviously I can hand you those. So yeah, I'm just going to cover what us regional leads are doing today and how we can work with you guys as a cluster. So here are 4 lovely photos, as you can't see my face right now, and these are the areas in which we all cover. So there's 4 of us that have been hired, myself in the Southwest, and I'm based in Bristol. Daljinder, who's been hired for the Midlands, and she's based in Birmingham. Beck in the Northwest, who's based in Manchester, and Jenny, who covers the Northeast and Yorkshire, and she lives near Hull. So we're all based where we work, which is always good for regional working. So we work in the cyber sector team. Now I know that the civil service, like everyone will glaze over because we use kind of the same words for everything and lots of abbreviations. So please do like put your hands up or kind of ask if I'm going into too much detail or I start talking like a civil servant, because I am a human first and foremost, and I would like to make sure that the words I'm using are proper English and not civil servant talk. So please do interrupt me if I start rambling on about something that nobody else can understand. It's our classic kind of go-to as civil servants. But we were in the cyber sector team within DCMS. So obviously we've got our directorate, that's the Cybersecurity and Digital Identity Directorate. And within that, I work under somebody called Andrew Elliott, who's my deputy director. And we work on cyber sector growth and innovation. Now, as I said, we're based in our regions, which is great for kind of stakeholder engagement, especially now that sort of life is opening up a little bit more, and long may it continue. And we're relatively new roles, having only been in these roles for the last 10 weeks. So still, I don't want to say finding our feet, but kind of still finding the best ways in which we can interact with the sort of top stakeholders. And I'll go into that a little bit more. Now, I know that you'll all know about the last cybersecurity strategy, and probably a bit like myself are keen for the next one to be published. Our Cabinet Office counterparts are telling us that it will be published this autumn / by the end of the year, was the last I heard. And that was at Cyberfest yesterday, where he was talking to Phil Jackman in the Northeast and said it will definitely be done by the end of the year. So it's coming soon. And as part of that cybersecurity strategy, we relate to the kind of ecosystem pillar within that. That's where our roles sit, and that's where our team sits. Again, if this is all a bit too civil servant-y, please let me know. Part of our role is also to contribute to the levelling up agenda. You will have heard Boris and co talking about levelling up the country, concentrating on sort of making sure that regions are growing outside of the southeast and London. And so that's why our roles have been created in these regions. We should be sort of contributing to driving up the growth and innovation within the cyber sector in our regions and expanding DCMS's regional reach. So being able to kind of meet you all in person or regularly and making sure that we're being those kind of eyes and ears on the ground. See if I can make the next screen work. Here you go. So this is kind of the offer that we've been putting out both to internal and external teams. So some of this will sort of relate a little bit more to the internal teams within DCMS than it will to you guys, but I thought I wanted to show you it just so you can see what it is that we're trying to do within government. So essentially this side says, I'm going to be the liaison between people like yourselves who work in the regions, who do cybersecurity, who are working on the ground, and who policies will impact when we make them. I'm going to be talking to all of you and sort of running policy ideas past yourselves, gathering, analysing your local intelligence, your regional reach, and your sort of business savvy within the cyber sector to be able to make sure that we can feed that back into the centre of government, into DCMS, into the Cabinet Office, so that policies can work more at a regional level. It's also when I listen to everybody speaking and when I know what's going on in the regions, I can start working out where there might be gaps, where there might be places that DCMS and our sort of Whitehall counterparts can step in and make sure that our policies are targeting kind of gaps in the market, gaps in the sector, and making sure that it's kind of working at a regional level. Equally, if we can see that there are challenges and issues in the regions, we can help to troubleshoot those. If we know that they're happening sooner, we can start sort of making sure that you guys can navigate around those better. We can start making sure that policy interventions kind of work for you more. So yeah, essentially liaison, real-time local intelligence, equally helping you navigate government. Whitehall is a complete beast. We all know this. And so even if it's not, even if there are things going on in the cybersecurity sector that perhaps don't fit within the DCMS reach, we have links with MHCLG, we have links with Cabinet Office, etc., etc. And my job and the other job of the regional leads is to help you navigate anything within Whitehall that you might need to. So where did I get to? Oh yeah, here we go. Equally, you were talking about Secure Southwest and sort of those kind of events that are going on soon. And I know that there's like the Bristol and Bath tech things coming up, etc., etc. If you want ministerial engagement, if you want engagement from our directors and our deputy directors, if you want to kind of get DCMS out into the regions, seeing what's happening, or kind of backing something that's going on within the regions that fits into the sort of cybersecurity portfolio that some of our ministers have, I can be your link to try and navigate that within government as well. So if there are things going on that you think it would be useful to have a supportive quote from a minister, or you want to make sure that the director within my sort of unit can come down and see what's going on in your area, that's something I can help with as well. These are sort of stakeholders that we've been speaking to thus far over the last 10 weeks. Obviously, you guys are in there as the regional cyber cluster, but I won't read all of these out, but these are who we're getting out to at the moment. If there are any gaps within that, if there are places that you can see, obviously I said I'll send these slides, but if there are places that you can see that we're not covering that you think might be useful to note or sort of to get in touch with, please do let us know. So these are shared objectives between ourselves, because I think this is kind of where it relates more to yourself as a cluster. Making sure that we're kind of promoting what's going on in the regions, the expertise that's happening in each place. Obviously, every region has different kind of sectors that need the cybersecurity support. Down here in the Southwest, we've got a lot in sort of maritime, agriculture, tourism, etc. Making sure that we're promoting that expertise to grow cyber businesses and to grow kind of what's happening in growth and innovation outside of London and the Southeast. We want to support and drive cyber growth across all of those regions and make sure that sort of knowledge sharing is happening within the regions and across them as well. And that also counts for devolved administrations. So obviously, I haven't mentioned specifically Northern Ireland and sort of Scotland and Wales, etc. But we do work closely with the clusters in those areas. We are learning constantly and sharing knowledge, and so that's something that we can bring to the table also. That kind of works within the strengthening existing relationships point as well. So making sure that we're kind of linking everybody together and ensuring that, if we spot a gap and then we hear something from another part of the region, we can start making those links. And that's something that yourselves are doing as well, so we can support you in that. Cyber skills development, obviously you guys were talking about the recent funding that you've got from UKC3 to kind of do the skills pilot and start building on that. Essentially, you know, part of our role can be making sure that cyber skills development is informed by regional priorities. So you guys are doing this pilot, that's going to be incredibly useful to the people in the skills team in my directorate within DCMS who are working on skills policy, who need the kind of regional knowledge and regional expertise that you're going to bring to the table. So making sure that we're informing anything that we do centrally by what the regions are telling us they need. And obviously, you know, the overarching one here is to support our collective effort as the UK to remain a world leader and a leading side of power, and that's kind of all over all the different security strategies. What we can do for you, I guess, like I said at the beginning, is making sure that we're kind of coordinating that central policy, navigating Whitehall for you, mitigating any problems that you might have with kind of other regional stakeholders, especially if it's a Whitehall issue, we can kind of help with that to increase our kind of policy impact and success, and promote the idea of inclusive growth within the regions. So making sure that, you know, trying to make sure that growth isn't just happening in the big cities. It's not just happening in Bristol and Bath. It's not just happening in sort of Swindon and Cheltenham, etc. It's happening across the region. Now, obviously, that's a very long-term aim. That's something that I know that quite a lot of the clusters are keen on, and equally so are we. So making sure that we're kind of bringing those opportunities for investment by bringing the sector together within the regions and making sure it's spread sort of inclusively. And here's how I think we can work together to both avoid duplication and add value. I won't read them all out to you because you can read those, but essentially, you know, we gave our sort of a similar presentation to UKC3 recently and the sort of cyber cluster leads there. And, you know, we kind of came up with this being an idea of how we can work together. Now, obviously, this can change sort of over the course of the year or 2 years or 3 years or however long these regional posts exist. Hopefully they've gone in the spending review, so hopefully we've got at least another 3 years, but we shall see because they always shorten those. But yeah, this is how I think that we can all work together. Now, obviously, like I say, any feedback from you guys would be great. Equally, if you have any questions, please do let me know. Like I said, it's 10 weeks into these roles, so we are still navigating how best we can work together and how best we can kind of add that value and have that impact for you. And so, you know, always open to sort of suggestions and ideas. I'm going to stop sharing now.